and stories and everything that has been told about our culture.
You
For
don't
me,
have to.
that's why to me, my culture is, when I say African continent, I mean the one over there across the water.
Right, right, and don't get it twisted. And like going back to that regular black,
Yeah.
Africans, we are. It's not Africans and black people.
Yeah.
It's Africans on on the continent of Africa and Africans included in the diaspora.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
we all Africans.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? We're just displaced Africans.
Hmm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And I know people don't want to. People don't like to hear that. People like to think like I'm not African. And you even hear some crazy people say stuff like that. I'm not African. I'm
Uh-huh.
American. I'm you fool. You know what I mean? Yes, we are. Yes, we are Americans because we were
Yeah.
displaced. We were born and raised here. I'm not trying to be non-patriotic, but at the same time, our origin is African.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Our
Hmm.
origin is African, and and that story that like that's big to me because that is part of why the book was written.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because that's part of our divide is all these different stories, all
Hmm.
these different doctrines, all
Hmm.
these like you get caught up in that. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like just like how you said the sister was like, well, what if it's like this and the conspiracy of it all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do you know how you get past the conspiracy of it all and
How?
all that noise? The source.
Ah.
Go as close as you can. Just keep
Hmm.
going. Go past that. Going on past that. Go back to the source. Okay, well, who said that? Where did that
Hmm.
come from?
I
Oh,
always
that
ask,
really?
how does it help me in my daily life? How is
Yeah.
this going to help me be a productive member of society? I'm really big on being a good human. And I always say, you can walk in love or you can walk in hate. They're both very powerful. And I chose to walk in love. So I'm really big on how can I be a productive member to humanity. I believe that our power comes when we unite, and the reason why we have been so asleep and so many of us are asleep is because of the separation. Separation is what puts us to sleep. It's what keeps us down.
And that is the booby trap of from the very beginning. Like when we think back to ancestors and things like that, we like to think slavery, but it
Mhm.
goes so much further back
Yeah,
than that. You know what I mean? And even way back then,
yeah.
from the
Slavery
very
was
first
the beginning of
invasion.
diminishing our culture.
Indeed,
Hmm.
indeed. It all the way, even all the way back to the very first invasion in 1650 BCE, you have the Hyksos, right?
Hmm.
Um, they even before they came in, our culture was. Hold on. I lost my train of thought. Thinking about the Hyksos, I'm looking at my notes on the Hyksos. What was I saying?
They were the first ones to invade the Kemet, maybe the Kemet, the land. That was the first people who
No, no, no.
invaded.
What were you saying? What were you saying before that? What were you saying about the oh man,
I don't
that's what
remember.
made me even say that.
Uh,
Oh man, it's gonna
I
mess
think we
with
were
me.
talking about the culture and how conspiracy theorists believe that our culture has always been here in America, and like this was the chosen land. And I'm and
Indeed,
I.
indeed. What I was saying was even before the first invasion,
Hmm.
like we already had the understanding.
Hmm.
You understand
There you
of
go. Hmm.
we had the understanding of everything we needed. We already had as far as the understanding of spirituality, the understanding of our divine, how to connect with the divine, how to walk, how to live. But as soon as even all the way back to the first invasion, which the Hyksos, if a lot of people don't know, those were West Asians,
Okay.
right? And so when they came over, they immediately that was the first transfer, like people trying to shift what we had going on.
Uh huh.
You know what I mean? Now
And make
keep
it
in
their
mind,
own. Yeah.
Right,
Kind of like,
right.
yeah.
And let me say this right quick, because when I said that date, that's what threw me off, because I instantly started thinking when I said 1650 BCE, I wanted to say this. A lot of people don't know how to read the timeline.
Right.
And
Yes.
that's our first problem, right? Because if people, and this was, it hit me like a ton of bricks when, if you just look at the timeline, like you don't have to take what LeVar Burton used to say on Reading Rainbow. I'm probably exposing my age now, it would say you have to take my word for it, you
Okay.
know. And so
Uh-huh.
when you're looking at the timeline and you can just look at the dates, okay. So let me say this for your viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the timeline of civilization. Let's say we're starting at the number
Mm-hmm.
14,700 BCE, right?
Mm-hmm.
BCE and CE is before Common Era and Common Era.
Mm-hmm. Right.
BCE is at the front. CE will be the time we're in now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So starting at 14,700 to, yeah, let's say 14,000. I start there because that's the end of the last ice age,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, so that's when the dinosaurs disappear, and now we got humans and stuff forming. 14,000, right? So when we come from 14,000, we go all the way down to zero, backwards. You understand what I'm saying?
We
People need
will
to
say that
understand
it's
this. You know what
backwards.
I mean? We're
BCE is
going
backwards.
backwards
That's
from
right.
14,000 to zero, and then from zero to one, two, three, four, five, to up to
Mm-hmm.
2026,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay. Now that's important because the stuff that we're talking about right now, Kemet, Mayat, uh, 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 the migration of the civilization that which was the birth of Mayat and Kemet,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
the migration of the African continent. We're talking at between 6200 BCE.
Yeah, well,
You know
that's
what I mean?
a
And,
long time ago when it
right,
comes to the BCE era. Yeah.
right. So now to put that in context for the viewers, right? This is down here. The creation of Kemet, your story, our story
Mm-hmm.
starts right here. Then you
Mm-hmm.
go down all these thousands of years to
Mm-hmm.
zero.
Mm-hmm.
For my Christians in the room,
Mm-hmm.
once you get down to zero, and then you get up to around 33 CE to around, anywhere from 33 beyond CE. But at
Mm-hmm.
33 is the reported death of Yahushua. The
Yes.
Bible or any thoughts of the Bible or anything like that didn't come to at least 20, 30, 40 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So just let's just put that in context. And
Mm-hmm.
this was what people need to understand. Don't take it as an attack on your religion.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I hate Christians, I hate Muslims, or uh this is a lie, that is a lie, this and that. I'm just giving you the facts. The dates go, the dates go. Our civilization, Kemet,
Mm-hmm.
back
Mm-hmm.
here in BCE, you go all the way down thousands of years to zero, go up to 33 to let's say 50 CE.
Mm-hmm.
Probably we could even go up to 100 CE, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's Christianity.
Right.
So look at what we just did. This is the timeline. This is 2026. This is the start of civilization, right? We're back
Right.
here. Your story comes from back here.
Yeah. All the way in the
But the
BCE
story
era.
that the story that the doctrine that you're following and living and dying for is right here. I don't even know if you
Mm-hmm.
can see me on the screen. It's
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah. It's old. It's younger.
Islam,
Yeah.
you fast forward another 500 years,
Mm.
right? To
Mm-hmm.
around like 610, 614 CE.
Mm.
The prophet has the revelations from the angel Jabril in the cave.
Mm-hmm.
For the next 40 years, he continues to have those revelations. So what is that? 650, like
Yeah.
650 CE. So now we're so far, we're off screen now. We're down here, we're
Yeah.
off screen. Your story is way back here.
Way back there.
Your guidance, your spirituality, your culture, uh
Your language.
everything you need, everything,
Yeah.
yeah, the essence of you is
Mm-hmm.
way back there, but
Way
we
back.
are taking it from way up there,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
from way up there. And like I said, it's not an attack on religion. I just implored, uh, I implore the people, no matter what's your walk, Christian, Hebrew, Muslim, whatever, just look at the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at the facts. You don't have to take it from me. You don't have to, don't follow me. I'm saying read the facts and follow your story. Stop
Mm-hmm.
following the foreign doctrine. And see, that's my thing. That is why, and that takes me to something else you said in your review of the book. You spoke to me several times about you like the way that it's easy to follow and it's like a great place to begin.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, that was very important to me, because that was one of my main things, because I was hearing so many people in my search. Like, you hear so much. You hear some brothers that's so smart. They got so many facts for you. Like, and you listen to their video and you like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But at the end of it all, you don't really have a grasp on something that's going to help you, or the
Mm-hmm.
timeline, or you haven't been
Mm-hmm.
able to, the person hasn't connected the dots for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you talking over my head. So like, yeah, what you saying is resonating with me, but how is that relevant?
Or they'll take somebody who has the knowledge and the wisdom, and but who uses it for bad,
Indeed.
and to say, see, I told you that spiritual stuff is evil. And I'll give you an example. Nature Boy, he had this huge
Mm,
cult, a black cult.
yeah,
And if you listen to him, a lot of what he says is a lot of what we say. Calling Jesus, Yeshua or Yeshua.
right.
Um, we're in the Ankh. And so I'm gonna have somebody who looks like these people who are awake, who are spiritual, and who are spiritually free, and I'm gonna show them somebody who does it for evil. That man was sit there manipulating his following. Once he got his following, he would sit there and do things like, watch, I can make them sound like a cat, and he'd go meow 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 meow, and then everybody would do it. They just sit there and follow him, and I'm just looking like, that's not spirituality.
But you know what? And it's crazy. You know the irony in that? All he did was the same thing that every oppressor has done, that has found
Hello.
our information over the
Exactly.
years.
Exactly.
It has power. It is powerful,
So
but
the
they just
biggest
use
thing
it.
that
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So the biggest thing I always say is that in order to tell a good lie, you have to dress it in truth. You got to put a whole
Hmm.
bunch of truth into it
Hmm.
in order to tell a real good lie, because it's gonna sound like
Real
the
talk.
truth. And you're very nice about it. You're like, I'm not against the Christian faith, and I get that, but I'm gonna be a little bit harsh and say that that's exactly what the Bible does. And look at how you were
Oh yeah.
talking about the timeline. And I was talking to a believer about this, and that's what I call people who believe in religion a believer. Um, and I said, what about? I said, you call Egyptian spirituality mythology, but the same stories that you listen to and resonate with you in the Bible came from Egyptian mythology. I said, Jesus' story, that was Horus. I
Yeah.
can give you other ones, and
Indeed.
from India,
The immaculate conception, the
exactly.
everything.
His
Yeah.
birthday was December 25th, born of a virgin, died, was risen three. And I said, so what makes your story not a mythology? But Horus is a mythology, but Jesus is a truth. You see, I said it doesn't make sense. The story of Noah.
It's it's because, you know why? It's
Mhm.
because the simple thing of them not knowing the timeline.
Mhm.
You see what I'm
And
saying? So
that's
when
what he
you
said
see
to me. He
what,
was like, "Are you sure that story came before Jesus?" Yes, it came. It came before the Bible.
there you go. There you go. See, they don't want you. That's why that person didn't know that. He
Mhm.
didn't know the timeline, or
Mhm.
he had the belief, or the narrative that nothing comes before Jesus.
Mhm.
Nothing came before the
Yeah,
Christian
I even
story.
gave him an example of the Old Testament. I said there is a story called the Epic of Gilgamesh that
Mhm.
literally mirrors the story of Noah almost exactly.
And then
Exactly. And he
and
was like, I
then
don't know if I think Noah came before the Epic of Gilgamesh. No, it did not. The Epic of Gilgamesh came first. Now, all of a sudden, we're supposed to believe that Noah's story is the right one, is the true one.
and you know what, sister, and it's tough in the walk dealing with believers.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
all the different types and different levels. But you know
Mm-hmm.
how I've grown to bypass that is now I don't even have that argument
Mm-hmm.
because I've done a lot of research, so I could have a very long and intense dialogue about, you know, the start of the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
this was written then, and that was written then, and what that means, and what this means, and but you know how I bypass all that nowadays. I tell a person, I say, well, look, what I'm talking about is not even in the same category.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even the same, like literally, not even trying to be a butthole about it. Like you know, when you're talking to a person, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to be a butthole about it, but I'm literally talking about thousands of years before what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
we're literally not having the same conversation.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to you about Kemet and you're trying to argue the Bible with me, and you're but the Bible says thou shalt not do, we're not having the same conversation. We're not even in the same epoch. We're not even on the same playing field.
Yeah. We're not even on the same planet.
And
Exactly.
that's where people like it's so sad to me, our people. That's how bad. Look, Wyatt Walker, I think it was what 63 or 64 when
Mm-hmm.
the bombing in Alabama, they killed the four little black girls. He said
Mm.
they had him quoted. He said and Wyatt Walker was Martin Luther King's right hand man.
Okay.
He said uh we've been duped, or either we've duped ourselves into believing that the chains have been loosened when they've been secured more tightly, right?
Mm-hmm.
End quote. But that's exactly what's going on.
That's still
That's
true to
exactly
this day.
what has happened, huh?
That's still true to this day.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's just it's so sad to me because like right now, actually, it's ironic, but when you let me know what day we were going to do the recording for the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
I click out of your message, another message pops up, page scheduled to be deleted in 24 hours. Multiple reports of hate talk. Uh, you know what I mean? And you want to know what's the crazy part? These are our people.
Yeah.
It's people that look like us that can't
Mm-hmm.
stand it. Can't stand it because they've been so brainwashed. You see, my brother Reginald Dobbs, he said, "Can't nobody brainwash me. I'm ready."
Yeah.
When the preacher man was trying to get on him with scripture, he said, "Look,
Mm-hmm.
look, brother, I'm can't nobody brainwash me. I'm ready. We're not even having the same conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking from a script that was given to you, and the thing is that they take it like the believers or whoever take it as combative as rather than help or a knowledge. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? Because it's literally like I said, we are not even in the same, we're not having the same conversation. So I'm not being rude when I say you're not on like we're not talking on the same level. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to big eye little you type
Right.
of thing. I'm
Right.
just literally telling you the truth. Look at this timeline. Look, my brother. Look, my sister. Look at
Mm-hmm.
this timeline. What I'm talking to you about, you got to forget everything that's down there. You got to forget that
Mm-hmm.
because this has, like, yes, okay, so did they steal this? Did they steal that? Is this a part of that? Is this a part of that? I'm pretty sure, yes. And we could talk about that for days, but why talk about that for days? The point is, our story is right here. This
Mm-hmm.
is where it originated. It originated all the way back here, and you don't have to believe me. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to come to my church. You don't have to give me some money to find out about it. You understand what I'm
Mm.
saying? You can do this yourself. You can do this yourself, and that's they couldn't have us governing ourselves because if we governing ourselves, then they can't govern you.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now, they can't govern you. They can't lead you. You won't be a sheep. If you a God, how can you be led like a sheep?
Exactly. I believe that that's what Yeshua Yeshua
Mm,
truly was, and that they manipulated Yeshua's story. But I believe that Yeshua was like a spiritual
absolutely.
renaissance and walking around saying, "Hey, I am a God. Look, I can walk on water. Come out of
But
this boat and come walk on water with me."
not to, we're
You
not
know?
we're not even going to talk about the fact that if I'm not mistaken, the miracles that you're talking about came after his disappearance, right?
Yeah. When he got older.
Okay, well, we all know what where they say his disappearance was too, right?
You talking about after he was so
Yeah,
because in the Bible he's a kid and then all of a sudden there's this big gap and now all of a
right.
sudden he's 40.
That
Yeah.
gap is because he was in Kemet learning.
Ah.
Now check
He
this
said
out.
he
Look,
was somewhere learning. That's see, I'm
check
telling
this
you.
out. Check this out. Look at the map. I know this one's probably too far back to see it, but
Hmm.
look at when you get a chance, look at the map of West Asia, or what they call the
Hmm.
Middle East. If you're
Hmm.
crazy enough to believe that's the Middle East, look at West
Hmm.
Asia and where it connects to Africa.
Mm.
As soon as you pass out of Kemet, aka Egypt,
Hmm.
you are in the Levant or Canaan.
Hmm.
What
Ah.
what immediately is Canaan, Damascus, Jerusalem?
Hmm.
All of
Hmm.
that is directly. I'm talking about directly outside of Kemet. First thing you
Hmm.
come to when you get out of Kemet is Canaan.
Ah. See, that makes sense.
So right,
That's
I was gonna
perfect.
say. So you think it's a coincidence? He disappeared. You know what I mean? And like I
Right.
said, we could. I absolutely believe it's validity to that, and yes, I believe that's what happened.
Yeah.
But before we even get there, before they even had the thought, you know what
Hmm.
I mean, or before Yahushua was even around,
Hmm.
the source of what Yahushua really stood for or was really on, the source is there still for us to do the same thing Yahushua did.
Yes.
If that's where if that's where a person stands, well, I want to follow the true. I want to follow. I feel like Yahushua was the true way. Well, what you
Hmm.
got to understand is that Yahushua's true way was Mayat. It was order, balance, reciprocity,
Exactly.
harmony, all of that, all of that.
Exactly.
Whether you won't believe it or not, and that's why I try not to get caught up in that, because like, so what I just said, that's more like an opinion, and somebody could be like, well, no, that wasn't with it, that wasn't the way. Okay, well, that's why I don't even like to do that. But what you can't argue about is
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6,000 years before Yehoshua, or any story like that, is what I'm talking about. Is where we
Yeah.
originated.
So what
Is
I like to say in what Sister Seven always says is Jesus and Yeshua are two different people, and I say that all the
oh
time.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus
I
is the
say
character they created to
is a
control you.
character
Yeah,
exactly, and you
yeah.
took the character. They took the character from the stories, from old Egyptian stories,
Hey, Rue.
and said this was the story. I believe Yeshua really came, and he was so powerful and so influential that they could not erase his presence, so they had to manipulate his story.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I tell people all the time, you could be a Christian if you want to, but I'm telling you, y'all are the modern day Pharisees. Y'all are the Pharisees Yeshua was against. He
Indeed.
never, even in their own version of the Bible, he never preached in a building. He preached outside, and then he never asked people for anything. He gave them. He was like, "Thank you for listening to me. Let me feed you for
Mm-hmm.
listening to me." That hand was never out. So why do we tithe? You know.
Hey,
Um.
speaking 1,000 pardons, but speaking on Yehoshua, um, when 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 I think back, okay, Yehoshua is a direct depiction or replication of Heru, or what they call Horus, right? But it's
Exactly.
Heru, right? The
Mhm,
sun,
mhm.
the sun,
The
right?
sun. Mhm,
Um, but what Heru was, and or is a aspect, or one of the Netaru. You understand what I'm saying? Or the aspect of the divine, right?
mhm,
Which is okay. So you have your Netaru, you have the divine, and then you have the aspects of the divine, which are
mhm,
your Netaru, which would be like Heru, Jehudi, um, you know, uh, Wawa Pet, Ampu, or people
Mhm.
call him Anubis. This guy, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But all of these things were aspects of the divine. And in that meaning, okay, so Heru was the aspect of the walk, of uh being right with the most high. Also the warrior energy, because in the original story, he avenged his father. He went and fought Set and slayed Set, avenging his
Ah,
father. Right. This
the
this was
story
Heru.
sounds familiar. Mhm.
Right. This exactly. This was Heru who went and avenged his father. And
Mhm.
the only way to the father is through the son. Right.
Wow.
That's because the only way to balance is through the way Heru did it, which is Maya.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? So they, the little twist comes, the
Those
only
those
way, the only way is, yeah, that's kind of true, but you took the most important part.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so yes, when we talk about Yehoshua, that's what we looked at Heru as one of our principles and like our guide in light. And like today you might need to be in your Heru energy more.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? Or today you might need to be, for instance, we're doing this podcast. So
Mhm.
today we're more in our Jehudi energy, which is
Jehudi.
which is the scribe and the thinker and the
Ah,
wise person.
yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's that aspect of your spirit or your mental just on daily life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, Sekhmet, which is often depicted as the cat or the
Yeah.
tiger or like the tigress type of warrior type of energy. You know what I
Wh-
mean?
Which the cat was a big animal
Oh yes.
for
Oh yes.
Egyptians. The cat.
Oh yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. And
Mhm.
Sekhmet being one of the Neteru. So, but some
Mhm.
some days you need that energy. You got to
Mhm.
put on that Sekhmet energy and fight
Mhm.
in discretion or fight through the day or whatever the case may be. Sometimes you need that. The thing is, it's about balance. You need
Yeah.
all of these. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's Mayat and it's Isfet. You can't think that you'll go Isfet being chaos or what
Uh,
Christians later call the devil or
mhm.
hell or you know what I
Yep.
mean? And that's
And
not
really
what
just
it's about.
chaos.
It's about you. You are governing yourself. So what
Mhm.
you're trying to do is stay balanced. But
Mhm.
you're gonna have you need some isfet. You
Mhm.
need some you got to have mayat, you got to have isfet, but it has to be
Mhm.
balanced.
It has to
That's
be
the
balanced.
walk. That's the walk. Is not to act like there's holier than thou, like there's never any
Mhm.
isfet. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? There absolutely is fat, and sometimes there's it's needed. The walk is balance, right?
Yeah, I love that.
And
The
so yeah,
third thing I wanted to talk about, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you had mentioned your third book and how there's on it, and we were talking about how the snake is important, um, and has been misunderstood. Can you talk about that again in your
indeed,
third book?
yes. The third book is called the Lorette Serpent, the Kundalini,
Okay.
the Kemetic Kundalini Rising,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a purposeful error in saying the Kemetic Kundalini Rising because the word Kundalini is not a Kemetic word. It was later adopted to explain the serpent or the Lorette, right?
Okay.
But I had to use that word. I used that word because I felt like that's a word that our people are familiar with. So when they looked at the book and they like Kundalini, oh, I know about the Kundalini, or I know about chakras and things of that
Yeah.
nature.
Okay.
So that was kind of like clickbait, right? For our
Yeah.
people, it's sad that it works, right? But it was kind of like clickbait to get our people to the fact of the Lorette or the serpent, um, because our ancestors knew and symbolized the serpent as the rising of the spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you see the hieroglyphs, which,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, you don't have to believe it by faith, Just look at the dates. Thousands of years before your Bible was written. I'm not
Mhm.
saying your Bible's wrong.
Yeah.
Thousands of years before the Bible was written, the fact part of it, you
Mhm.
see, you see the pictures and the tombs, and you see the snake
The
sitting
snake.
on the crown of different people. Some people you might see it on just a band and just the
Mhm.
snake sitting up there. Or deities, they draw deities and things like that with the snake. It's because the snake symbolized the ultimate rising of the spirit and the height
Mhm.
of alignment, right?
Mhm.
And it was reported, it was literally it's recorded in it was a lot of writing on stone, but it was also writing on papyrus. But as you know, papyrus uh, uh, disintegrates faster and more than a stone ever will, right? So
Mhm.
a lot of that stuff is gone now, but there are reports of people actually glowing, like,
Uh,
you know what I mean? Like we see these marble and the Bruce Leroy and all the mythical and all the stuff
mhm.
that stuff comes from somewhere. There's truth to that,
Yes,
but
I believe that too.
the truth is you. Like, and how we represent it. We use the snake to represent when you reach the spiritual level to where. And check this out. I'm gonna give you a little spoiler alert though. In the book, I talk about to raise the Lorette. Do you know they described it often as the sense of when a person is getting ready to like ejaculate or
Mhm.
that feeling, but
Mhm.
not ejaculating,
Mhm. I understand.
sending sending it up, right?
Yeah.
Sending it up through breath work, um,
Got to put in some work. Yeah. To get.
yeah,
Yeah.
breath work, meditation, and spiritual guidance, just bringing it up to the point where they say that is your Lorette, that is your force, like that is an energy like no other. But all we know and what we've been taught is to when we feel that to release it.
Ah.
But our people knew if you can reverse that and send it to the
Yeah.
pineal, that's when you get to talk
Mm.
about the third eye. That's why they always sit the serpent on the third eye.
Right. That makes
You
sense.
always see it right there. You send that energy up to the pineal, it's you become almost like a matter of fact, it is. I was gonna say almost, it is like they call it a different type of being, the Sahu, right? They called you the Sahu wore the
Yeah.
Lorette crown to symbolize who they were. And like I said, it's reported that you almost will see these people glowing, like you knew the power, you could feel the power they had
Yeah.
from their oozing from their spirit. You know what I mean? Their
Yeah.
spiritual energy. You know what I mean? And they got it up there. They got that snake up there
Yes.
to let you know,
I
right?
love how you're giving a different symbolism to the snake because you know how
Indeed, indeed.
the snake has
And
always been represented.
now with that being said, I'm hoping it can make a little more sense why that would be the very first thing they make sure you stay away from.
Yeah.
Make sure that's the very first thing that you
That's
symbolize in
evil.
your head as evil or bad.
The snake.
Don't think about no snake. Don't never think about no snake. Snakes is bad. Matter of fact, snake did the ultimate evil.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever worry about no snake. Like
Mm-hmm.
when it's actually the thing you need, it's actually one of the things that make you more powerful.
And
It'll
they
make you
say
more
that, but
powerful.
then there's the snake that's on every hospital with the that's coming up the cross. It's like coming
Indeed,
up the cross.
indeed,
Yeah. And I'm
indeed. And
like,
they
wait
talk
a minute, I thought this was evil. I'm confused. I never understood that as a Christian.
indeed, indeed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the way they put it in our face is outrageous.
Well,
Outrageous.
I always say if the public is saying something is evil, a lot of times it's the most powerful thing. The
Right.
most suppressed is the most powerful. You know, we're talking about women, we're talking about black people, like we were talking about with the snake. Um, honestly, I don't know if you believe in this, but I want to get a like, and people are gonna hate me for this, but I want to get a big tattoo on the back of my neck that says 666. They're gonna be like, what is going, this woman is evil. But no, 666 is actually the makeup of melanin. Six
Indeed.
protons, six neutrons,
Indeed.
six electrons. That is how you make us. But they put it in this book that is evil, right?
And symbolism in all forms is very important, right?
Yes,
We knew that. That's why you see when you see the walls and things like that, you see our ancestors draped out in
yes.
gold and unks and
It's
scarab
important.
beetles and
Mm-hmm.
the eye of Heru and all this
Mm-hmm.
different stuff, right? We knew that symbolism was important. There's power in it,
There's
right?
power in it.
So again, just like they did the snake, what's the very first thing they do? Oh no, thou shalt not mess with no symbols.
Yeah.
When actually there's power in that. That's how we knew that. That's how we use them for protection. We use them for just being grounded, like on your everyday walk. For instance, right now I'm wearing the Unk, but I also have a gold chain in the shop right now it's the Mayat chain, right? And it's
I didn't
the
even know
Lady
that that
Mayat.
exists.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Oh,
and that's just and that's symbolism that helps me every day, all
me
day.
too. Me too.
Right. That at any given time, I can see that, and
Yeah.
instantly it takes me back to what?
Yeah.
Balance. Get it
Mm-hmm.
together. Pull it together, man. You post, and that applies. And when I say this too, when we talk about my yacht, the viewers have to understand that it is the everything, right? It
Mm-hmm.
is the everything. It is the way. They lied to you. They lied to you. The only
Yes.
way, the only way is Mayat. The
Yes.
only way to balance is order, justice,
Like you said, the
reciprocity, right?
source. Stop
Yeah,
playing phone, y'all. Stop playing phone. Go to the
yeah,
source.
right. Go to
Yeah.
the source. Go back to
The
the source.
original.
Do your own research. Go back
Mm-hmm.
on the timeline as far as you
Mm-hmm.
can go.
Mm-hmm.
As far as you can go. Don't take my word for nothing. Just get on the just nerd out and just research and get on the timeline and go as far back as you can go and,
Mm-hmm.
and tell me what you think. And and
I'm
and
I'm gonna look that up. I want a Maya chain.
yeah, yeah, and man, listen, the thing is, all of the symbolism, like for instance, my son just turned 18, right? He asked me for a
Mm-hmm.
tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
All his life, like even when he was younger, and he asked me about my tattoos and things like that. Always tell him, just make sure it means something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get no garbage on you, right? Just make sure it means something. Make sure it's some nice work. Don't let nobody play on your skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he asked me for a tattoo. I said, okay, you know what I say? He said, I know it got to mean something, right? I don't know what he's gonna get. We get to the tattoo shop. He shows the tattoo guy the drawing of a scarab beetle, right?
What?
A scarab beetle,
Oh, okay.
right?
A scarab. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And we use those in death and in life, right?
Yeah.
In spell work and in protection work,
Ah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And just symbolism and
Mm-hmm.
remembrance, right? So it made my spirit smile
Yeah.
for him to do that, Um, but yeah, it's absolutely it's amazing to me how that be the very things you need is the very thing that they want to take from you, right?
And tell you it's evil, it's bad, or
Yeah,
yeah, look down
yeah,
upon it. Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you so much again. Like I
Right.
said, I know you're a very busy person. You got a lot
Yeah,
going on, and I love what you are doing. You said thank you to me, and I say thank you to you because if it wasn't for people like you,
indeed.
people like me wouldn't be able to grow in their journey. I think when we come together, there's strength in numbers, right? So when we come together, it shows the public that look, this isn't so far fetched. This isn't so out. Um, she ain't crazy.
Right, right, right. And that right there, what you just said, and that is the purpose for the book. We are a sleeping nation. We have been asleep for
Yes.
over 5,000 years. But
Yes.
this is the sleeping nation, but this is the morning after 5,000 years, right?
Yes.
This is the wake up.
We're
You
waking
understand
up.
what I'm saying? And the fact of what you just said when you said she ain't crazy, the fact that that's even a narrative that you have to worry about
Mm-hmm.
is why the book exists,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
that's where I want the viewers, your viewers, to start at, and our nation as a whole to start the wake up. And let me say this before you go. I did want to say this.
Please
When I
take your
was speaking
time.